Podcast is intended for mature audiences. The views and opinions expressed are those of the panelists and do not reflect in any way those of the podcast partners, sponsors, or affiliates. Enjoy.
Hi, this is Michael Buffer, and you're listening to the voice of the people. Let's get ready for Boxing Voice.
Hey, Daddy, this is dollar bill.
BoxingVoice.com.
No matter what nobody say, man. Spirit, can't nobody fuck with me.
Every day I'm hustling, 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 hustling. Every day I'm hustling, 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 every day I'm hustling.
Hey, I feel I'm the best in the sport, and to be the best, you got to be the best.
BoxingVoice.com.
One champion, one face, one name. His name's Deontay Wilder.
BoxingVoice.com.
It's the fact that I've been on it for so long. It's
110%. There's no doubt in my mind that fight will happen. There's no doubt in my mind I'll beat Wilder as well.
I'm scaring heavyweights each and every time. Don't you see it? You know, I am the most feared. And if I'm not, then I want somebody to shut me up. I want somebody to prove that to me. I want to be proven wrong. But right now, I don't feel like nobody's gonna prove me wrong. Who has the guts?
What up, and welcome back, ladies and gentlemen, to another episode of the Boxing Voice Radio. Every day we hustling. You already know, man. We are back with another episode, and today we're going to be discussing Daniel Jacobs versus Gabriel Rosado. Previews and predictions. We didn't get to do previews and predictions for this weekend's upcoming fights due to Thanksgiving dinner for everybody. But Jacobs may not be in the most significant fight that fight fans would have wanted, but definitely an important one, as this is the last fight on his Dazn contract, and we have to ask ourselves, is he going to re-up with Dazn, kind of like Demetrius Andrade, or is he going to maybe go somewhere else? You know, I seen interviews that he done on Aka and Barack and on the Portaway podcast, where he definitely puts a lot of emphasis on his number one option being or wanting an option at Jermall Charlo. It's a fight that he believes can get done, and I know that he's looking for that. Now, can it get done if he's still with Dazn or re-signs with Dazn is kind of the question. Probably the no, right? So if we want to see Jacobs versus Charlo, he's probably got to come back to, you know, good old Al Heyman. I'm not sure, but maybe. I could definitely see them, you know, doing a fight, a one-off. If he stays with Dazn, it's not like Eddie hasn't offered services of other Dazn fighters. But they definitely always try to put a big number out there, right? Like, oh, you want Andre, pay him $7 million and we'll send them over there. You know what I mean? So if he doesn't get out of this Dazn deal, how easy it is to make those cross-the-street fights with guys like Caleb Plant and Jermall Charlo, I'm just not sure. But at least we look forward to the possibility of him being a free agent. At this stage in his career, it might be the best thing for Daniel Jacobs. He's 33. You know, he's got 36 fights, 3 losses. He's lost to Dimitri Prague, Canelo Alvarez, and Gennady Golovkin. So he still has, I believe, shelf life, you know, on his career. You know, hasn't really taken any serious punishment. And definitely still a good fighter, you know. I wonder why that fight between he and Andre was never made. I mean, you know, they had all these fighters in and around the same weight. Daniel Jacobs, Canelo, Andre, Gennady. You know, Al gets a lot of hate in the welterweight division for not letting his fighters fight Crawford. But Jesus, the zone fighters weren't fighting each other at all. You know, four fights in, and Andre hasn't fought any one of those names mentioned. So, I don't know. Does Jacobs leave? Because Jacobs, while he's been with DAZN, he's gotten some fights. You know, he's fought the likes of maybe Luis Aries was on DAZN. I'm not 100% sure, but Selecki, Derevyanchenko, you know, Canelo, Chavez, Rosado. I want to say Derevyanchenko might have been HBO. Maybe all those Luis Aries and Selecki and even Derevyanchenko might have been on HBO. And then the Canelo deal was the $12 million fight, followed by Jacobs versus Chavez, and now Rosado. But I could be off by the timeline slightly. But Jacobs still considered a top fighter in the division. Just moving to 68, and my co-host, who hasn't joined us yet, already putting him, you know, above some of the other more established fighters in the division. But I think that Rosado said it best, you know. Jacob is lacking that signature win. His biggest win, I think, is Peter Quillen, maybe. You know, he was able to beat Peter Quillen by knockout in one round in their fight, and they had met for that WBA. You know, the Caleb Truax win looks better because Truax he went on to become a champion. You know, he beat James DeGale. You know, he got some other wins in there. He beat guys like Ishe Smith before, you know, anyone else. You know, before a lot of people. You know, they fought a long time ago. He beat other guys, you know, like Michael Walker, you know. He also beat Fernando Guerrero, right? I think he fought Fernando Guerrero early in his career. Dimitri Prague was an early title shot, you know. Jacobs, he needs that win, man. He needs that, and this is what I'm saying, top guy right here. And what's his two biggest wins? Peter Quillen, Julio Cesar Chavez. You know what I mean? And Chavez, you know, you're gonna say that's his biggest win of name value, but I mean, Chavez was a former champion at 54 when he beat Sebastian Zvick, maybe. You know, but yeah, this is what I'm saying. Not everybody has two big wins, man. It's not easy to accomplish in this generation. You know, I mean, looking at Golovkin, what's his biggest win? Jacobs, and then he had the draw with Gennady. I mean, with Canelo, right? So, maybe Lemieux. Martin Murray, I don't know, Willie Monroe, one of those, but that's not big win, you know? Lemieux, definitely not a big win when he had already been knocked out to Josine Alcine, man, and you know, that was definitely a step back, you know, early in his career. Has Lemieux ever even gone on to be a world champion? I really can't remember if Lemieux was a world champ. Yeah, it's hard to find two decent big wins. I know Gabe, you know, who we talking about, we previewing his fight. He doesn't have two big wins, you know what I mean? It's very, very difficult. Not everybody gets to achieve that, you know what I mean? I mean, Gabe's biggest wins, you know, Joshua Clottey maybe. Glenn Tapia, maybe his biggest wins, you know. Shakur Powell, you know, maybe that's his biggest win. But again, how big that is It's totally up to you. Maybe not big enough to be on that level, to be considered a big name win. But that's neither here nor there. You know, Jacob's very honest with us, letting us know that this fight was a coming out of COVID tune-up. And it's understandable. It's understandable. He's still getting acclimated, a word we were using a lot in the last show. He's still getting acclimated to that 168-pound division. And Gabe's a good guy to introduce him to that division, you know? Gabe, I watched all the build-up for this, and Gabe kind of feels like Jacobs has been pushed, that he hasn't really, like they're pushing his story on fans, where Rosado is a guy that the fans just adore because he, you know, takes those tough fights, allegedly, is Rosado's beef with Jacobs, because they have some sort of, you know, back and forth, you know. Jacob seems to believe that Rosado is jealous of him because of the way their careers turned out in different directions, obviously. Big Supermax Plainview, Texas says, why has Jacobs never got the GGG rematch? Because it was a tight fight. It was a tight fight. After GGG knocked them down, which could have been argued that it was a trip. Their legs were a little bit tangled, but there was a punch. You know, Jacobs felt the power there, you know, banged his fists together, his chest, and that's when he kind of turned it up. He realized, wait, this guy probably can't hurt me. He doesn't hit as hard as everyone thought, or I'm not affected by the shots as much as everyone else. And Jacobs turned it up then and never got that rematch. I know he could have got it if he would have went on to beat Canelo, but he didn't. So for Gennady, it's like, why would I fight you when I already beat you, and then you had a chance to top me by beating the guy that I had a draw with, and you didn't do that. So, you know, Jacobs got to earn his position again. He's got to earn his position. He's got to earn his right to one of those world titles. And this time around, it's going to be at 68. And, you know, who would you want to see Jacobs get in there with next? You know, the Rosado, like I said, this is a pandemic fight is what he is calling it. He being, you know, Daniel Jacobs. So you got some guys in this division, right? Obviously, Callum Smith is going to be facing Canelo. Those two guys are busy. Billy Joe's going to be facing Martin Murray. He's busy. Caleb Plant's there. You know, David Benavidez is there. Avini Yeardrum is there. Lemieux moved up. David Morrell, the Cuban, he's there. You know, you got Edgar Berlanga creeping up at number 6 on the WBA. And is Edgar nowhere on the WBO? Whoa, Bob, you tripping. Oh, there he goes. He's number 9 in the WBO. So, you know, you got some guys creeping up. Nothing crazy in terms of really, really, really big fight. You know, it would be a good storyline that maybe we should start building if Jacobs and Berlanga were to meet, right? And here's the story, right? So Edgar Berlanga wants to fight, hypothetically, Jacobs for leaving Andre Rozier when he get the Canelo fight. You know what I mean? So Andre, who trains Berlanga, you know, I have the Da Vinci Code to get Edgar Berlanga to get a win over Daniel Jacobs right now, you know, because I've trained him for so long, because I know Daniel Jacobs. I could get Edgar Berlanga to win right now. So, you know, it's funny. Last show we were talking and someone said, yo, Nuts, you wildin', man. He beat Ferdinand Chudinov. Look at Chudinov, number 8 in the WBC. Meanwhile, they hate on Canelo's greatness. Let's check the resume of other people and see where their opponents are. Are they still active, man? Are they still out here fighting? You know what I'm saying? But Ferdinand Chudinov, number 8. You know, not a big fight, though, for Jacobs, you know. Big fights for Jacobs. I guess if we look over at the Ring Magazine column, right, the sexiest fights look like Callum Smith is the Ring Magazine champion and WBA Super. Then you got David Benavidez, number 1. No title, lost it on the scales. Caleb Plant, number 2, IBF title. Anthony Durrell still holding strong at number 3. You got, Saul Canelo Alvarez at number 4. Rightfully so, too. You remember that my co-host put him at #1 champion over just with the win over Rocky Fielding, but that's just, he says, eye test, I guess. Billy Joe, who's going to be facing Martin Murray, he's #5. John Ryder, not yet. Caleb Truax, like I said, Caleb Truax became a world champion. He's on ring #6. So that's one of Jacob's wins. So, again, in that whole, what's your 2 biggest wins? Peter Quillen, Caleb Truax. But then now you compare those 2 wins to, let's say, Crawford's Gamboa Horn. Caleb Truax, definitely not as accomplished as Gamboa or, Horn, right? Horn got the, on black and white, the win over Pacquiao, so that's big. Gamboa, like someone said, still 39 years old and going 12 rounds with KO artists and up-and-coming talent. So maybe those 2 wins of Danny, not really that great. In comparison, right? Now, Billy Joe, on the other hand, right? Who'd he beat early on? He beat Chris Eubank, David Lemieux. That's probably it. Probably got one more in there, but nothing overwhelmingly huge. And his win over David Lemieux was a outclassing, absolutely, but Gennadi's win was more exciting. John Ryder. Wow, John Ryder is #7 on the Ring Magazine. Shout out to my man CYP, loves to bring up the Ring Magazine, and they respect John Ryder as #7. Oh, Fyodor Chudnov, #8. So that means he's universally #8, not just the WBC #8. Damn, George Groves win looking real good, CYP. David Lemieux, I thought that wasn't the greatest win for somebody. Who did I say that win was? Gennadi's win? I guess. I don't know. I guess it is what it is. At this point, people that were at 60 are moving up. They got Jacobs rounding out #10. And looks like Rosado nowhere in any of these rankings, so he could really use this win. Shout out to Steven Nelson right there at WBO. I'm wondering when Top Rank's going to make that Nelson-Edgar Berlanga fight, #8 and #7. Really would like to see that one. But yeah, we got a super chat here from Stick Talk Boxing. Stick Talk Boxing, who says, Jacobs will beat the dog crap out of Berlanga. With Rozier knowing everything, he will never make that fight. You mean Jacobs would never make that fight? I hear you. But that's why I'm saying that's the storyline. That's what we need to push. If we want to get that, but is that really a big fight for Jacobs though? He's gonna look at it like, yo, I'm giving this dude the fight he needs to get his name out there. So they would have to pay. They would have to pay a lot for that. And Jacobs is not a cheap fighter at this point. I mean, he made $12 million with freaking Canelo. Then he fought Chavez. Definitely.
He's touching M's, man. He's touching M's.
Yeah, he been told Charlo that. So what's up, man? You just joining us. We're talking, obviously, this 168-pound division, previewing, predicting this Gabe Rosado, Daniel Jacobs fight. I'm picking Daniel Jacobs, but I was sticking in line with my old argument about, how many fighters have more than 2 good wins, right? What we consider as boxing fans good wins. Like Gennadi's win over Jacobs, good win. A-level kind of win, right? Canelo's win over Jacobs and Gennadi, A-level kind of wins. Jacob's biggest wins that I was able to find, I don't know if you can see anything else. I see his biggest wins being Peter Quillen undefeated by knockout and Caleb Truax, who he knocked out in, I believe, the 10th, and then he went on to become a world champion. Caleb Truax did by beating James DeGale. After you give me your thoughts, if not, I'm going to go out to CYP, who's starting early.
Yeah, definitely. I'm picking Daniel Jacobs to give Gabriel Rosado everything he has to, everything he wants to handle, everything he's been asking for. This is a smaller Gabe Rosado. Gabe Rosado is not a pushover. He's a tough fighter. He's going to come to fight. He's proven that time and time again. But he's going to show that he's a little bit outclassed and a little bit outmatched in this fight. But it's going to be a good dogfight. Jacobs is going to have to dig deep at some point because Rosado is going to keep coming forward, constantly keep coming forward. And to answer your question in terms of the wins on his record, other than, I mean, Sergio Moro is a good win. I'd like to think that he got, and he beat Sergio Moro. That's Daniel Jacobs. He beat Sergio Moro twice, both time by knockout. And then, you got Salaki. Salaki is a good opponent as well, common opponent of Rosado. And a lot of people, Salaki doesn't really have, he only has maybe one loss now, and one loss, that would be to Jacobs. So he's one of them names. Yeah, go ahead.
So you think that's I mean, who where's his Castillo? Where's his Corrales? Where's his Maidana?
Jacobs?
Like Maidana? No, I mean,
all
all I'm saying is great wins, man.
Fight, yeah.
Wait, but he lost to Golovkin.
Right, but like that would there isn't one that has a win, but there's one that has a loss.
So you saying you don't think he has any great wins, just good wins?
Just good wins, right? Correct.
Mm-hmm. For argument's sake, does Canelo have any great wins in your eyes?
Well, I mean, yeah,
okay,
yeah, for sure.
Okay, just moving on. Counterpunch, CYP.
Yo, I heard you bring up the Ring magazine. Now, understand something, audience. CYP uses the Ring magazine for beginning of the year rankings and end of the year rankings, similar to college football's preseason and final rankings. Just because you were ranked number 2 or number 3 or whatever in the beginning of the year, and you can't hold that position or get better by the end of it, doesn't mean you were 1 or 2. It means you were whatever the hell they ranked you at the end of the year, which proves that Lar was not number 1 at 154. It was Floyd before the year and Floyd at the end of the year. He was never number 1 Ring magazine. So since we're using Ring magazine today, I appreciate you. CYP out.
Yeah, nah, he wasn't number 1 Ring magazine. But remember, we already showed you an article by Dan Rayfield's ESPN who said that Lara was elevated at the time of the Canelo fight to number 1 and super champion, which made him the number 1 in the division. I know facts hurt, but, we already proved you wrong. You're doubling back. Chill, Chizzy. So, yeah, man, in terms of this fight, Jacobs feels like Rosado talked his way into it, and I think he really did. I would love to see Rosado capitalize, but I would hate to see Jacobs lose to Rosado, right? Like, you want to root for Jacobs and Rosado as the underdog, but it would be a setback if at 33 Jacobs lost to Rosado.
I was about to ask you, where would he go from there? What would be the next step
rematch
for Jacobs from there?
For both of them, the biggest thing would be the rematch. It would be tough for Rosado to move on into like a Canelo fight because of that. Maybe he can parlay a Jacobs win into a Gennady rematch. You ain't on camera. What you over there smoking? Would you use a bong? Why y'all be scared? I don't get that.
No. I'm eating. But we good though. Keep going.
But yeah, I'm just saying. If Rosado gets a Jacobs win, maybe he could capitalize that, turn that into a Gennady fight, a Gennady rematch, because Gennady got to wait on Canelo, so he want a safe opponent, He beat him already. The storyline would be that he earned his way back at a Gennady fight, CYP counterpunch.
Oh, I didn't know Dan Rayfield's opinion mattered more than Ring magazine. I don't know. Maybe it does to you, but the point was today, you use Ring magazine to try to discredit my point. So use Ring magazine. I'm giving you permission. Go ahead. And Ring magazine never had your boy Lar number 1. Period. So you either respect it or you don't. Which one is it? And if you disrespect me after our call instead of having the conversation, you got it. I'm busy there anyway, so we ain't gonna go back and forth if you're just gonna disrespect me once I hang up and not debate it right now. Come on, my guy.
No, I would
cut it out. Does Ring magazine matter?
You, man.
Does Ring magazine matter?
Yeah, you said it matters. So because you said it matters,
I'm asking you.
Well,
I'm asking, does it matter to you?
Again, you like to use it, and that's what I said in my argument, right? Cut it. I said, cut it. CYP loves to use Ring magazine. You know what I mean? Right now, Callum is ranked number 1. So, yeah, I'm going to use Ring magazine and hold them in high standards the way that you do, just so that you can, wallow in your own argument about how Canelo is fighting the number 1 Ring magazine fighter. Thanks for that. I needed that. But in terms of Jacobs, he's on Ring Magazine number 10. But listen, Rosado's not even on the top 15 of any of these sanctioning bodies that we've been screen sharing, courtesy of Live Boxing. You can always catch these rankings updated daily, most of the time, on theboxingvoice.com/rankings. Shout out to Live, who keeps us live. So, yeah, I mean, Jacobs number 10, Lemieux, a guy that Gennady and I think Jacobs beat, right? Didn't Jacobs beat Lemieux? I don't know. But, yeah, I mean, this is the ring. I wish we could wait till the end of the year, but this is kind of almost like the end of the year, right? Right, CYP? I mean, we're November 27th.
Jacobs did not fight Lemieux, no.
Would you give Callum the respect, being as though that he's been number one all the way until the 12th month of the year? Or are you going to say it doesn't count until next year? When exactly do you allow it to count? Like, I mean, it is... We about to go, 3 days into 3 days from now will be in December, the 12th month. So, I mean, is he number one or is he not number one? I don't know. I don't know. But in terms of the fight, I'll tell you this. I don't think we get in a stoppage. My money is on distance. Do you think Jacobs can get the stoppage in this? Silence. Yo. All right. Well, I think he stepped away. Can Jacobs get the stoppage? My opinion, no. No, this goes 12. I think Rosado is crafty. I think that Rosado,
Too tough.
Oh, you're back. So can Jacobs get the stoppage?
No, he's too tough. Rosado's too tough. He's too much of a true champion to get a stoppage. It was hard for. Listen, Gennady had to bloody and batter Gabe Rosado to stop him. He's not just gonna unless he get a one punch that he didn't see type that Terrence Crawford hit Kell Brook with and kind of surprise him. No, this is going 12, man.
He chose the Kell Brook. I mean, 12. Well, Rosado, he doesn't have any metal in his eyes, so I don't know if it's gonna hurt as bad. But the betting line seems to think Jacobs will get the stoppage. They got it at a minus 225, but this is a tight fight. Is this an indictment? Because then you got Rosado. Actually, no, that's Jacobs' plus 200 by decision. That's a good money right there, bro. Plus 200 by decision and a minus 225 by knockout. When's the last time Jacobs got a knockout? Let's check this out.
I was just about to tell you that the last time was against Julio Cesar, and he retired on his stool. The last fight was against Sergio Moro in 2016. So it's been I don't know, 4 years.
And that Chavez knockout, we all know Chavez be looking for way out, so I can't give him too much credit. I could respect it as a stoppage, but is it really a stoppage? You know what I mean? This one might go 12, man. Plus 200,
I'm
man.
Picking,
free advice,
I'm happy picking knockouts, but this one's going 12.
Yeah, man, at plus 200, that's some free advice. Jump on that. What up? Should we open up the phone lines or anything else you want to discuss?
Yeah,
it's not really much to preview. Oh, well, actually, I didn't get your thoughts. You wasn't here for all that. This is the last fight on his contract. Where do you think he goes from here, man? I mean, that's the biggest news. That's what's breaking to me. I didn't think it was going to be over. I thought they were going to extend him. He's a pretty big name. If he fights Charlo, that's the biggest name on Charlo's resume. If he fights Keller Plant, biggest name on Keller Plant's resume. So, I am really interested in, is DAZN gonna cut him loose at 33? Daniel Jacobs now, but 2 signature wins, in my opinion, Caleb Truax and undefeated Peter Quillen, first round knockout.
Yeah, he's definitely coming home. He's already been managed by Al Haymon. He's just gonna come to Showtime or PBC and start to fight PBC on Fox. Fight some of these super middleweights like Benavidez and a Truax and a Plant, and get the fights that are necessary, because the super middleweight division right now is currently being held up a little bit by PBC and Al Haymon. Yeah, you do have the likes of the Billy Joe Saunders and the Lemieux and stuff, but those are one-off fights that you can make regardless of the fact. So after that, I want to hear what the callers got to think.
Yeah, man, let's go on out to him, man. Real quick, you already know we're gonna go to our sponsors. Shout out to all our Border Wars non-sponsors. Dallas, Texas is going down. We're going to have Border Wars number 9, huge fight card. Come out and support us by signing up to Patreon and watching those fights when they drop. We want to shout out Spencer Farron, Rob Stanley, and No Label Sports and Entertainment for being our sponsor for Dallas Border Wars 9. Also, Brian Custer and the Last Stand podcast for looking us out and also being our sponsor, man. You know, the alliance between the two just giving us, you know, that extra seal of endorsement, right? Shout out to wirelessbudshop.com, one of our very own, man. Happy to see Jay Hardcore out here doing it, man. Doing it to the level that this whole month is 50% off, man. So go ahead and cop your earbuds. Get them stocking stuffers ready, man. Christmas is coming. Let's go. You know, pay something like $30, $35. Matter of fact, if you use TBV, you get 15% off. Go ahead and get your stocking stuffers on. Also, I want to shout out to War Tape, man. Always there whenever we got big events. War Tape. Shout out to Mike Rodriguez, Cut Man for the stars, man. Always been there for TBV. Appreciate it. Appreciate it. Also, Big Rig. Big Rig Trucking Agency. Shout out to Big Rig Trucking Agency. New Jersey, New York, Philadelphia, PA, Connecticut, even Ohio. Servicing everybody. Free quotes. Call them up. Get a free quote. Let's go. Kendall Holt. Holt.boxing.com. Pick up your set. Shout out to Bravas.com and Xavier Miller, trainer of Dillian White. Pick up your set of Bravas. You know you loving that golden white alpha, man. You know that. Let's go. Adrian Clark. Shout out to Adrian Clark. Protect yourself at all times, like he's going to be protecting all our fighters. Not at all times, because he can't pick up your hands for you, but he definitely putting you in Everlast headgear, Everlast gloves, and you should be able to take those home. All our fighters getting goodie bags this season. It's going down. Border Wars 9, man. Respect the movement. We already on 9. Get out the ring. I mean, get in the ring and swing, shorty. Get in the ring and swing, like my man Indicator Georgia says, man. You know, it's going to be a good one. Shout out to everybody that's participating.
Don't forget Marlon So Icy and Austin, no doubt Trout.
That's right. That's right. See, if you ain't here, I could drop the ball, man. You know, you got to be here.
Get in the ring, swing. Get in the ring, swing.
Get in the ring, swing. All right, we got some super chats, but shout out to Austin Trout and Marlon So Icy, man. I appreciate y'all, and double shout out to Austin Trout for having a huge win. Right, I see my nemesis CYP talking about Jacob's bigger name than Trout with the thinking emoji. I mean, either or, do it matter? Canelo beat them both. Ha!
Every day I'm hustling,
Let's go.
hustling, hustling,
Let's
hustling,
go.
hustling, hustling,
So either way, Canelo
hustling.
beat them both, man. All roads lead to Canelo. The way that you was talking that tank shit, all roads lead to Canelo, man. Let's go. Berlanga and Canelo, huge fight. Huge fight. Mexico, Puerto Rico. Hola, mano, arriba. Telling you, big fight. That's why I offered it to Jacobs first. You heard me. I given him the storyline. You know, the trainer, disgruntled trainer, you know, gets new young prospect to rip through the 33-year-old Daniel Jacobs. It's there. The storyline is there.
Right
Jacobs
there,
got to jump on it, because if he don't, y'all know Berlanga's fighting Canelo before Canelo retires. Y'all know that. Y'all know that. Puerto Rico versus Mexico, that's old school, man. So that's going to be Canelo's
and
Trinidad. Yeah, that's going to be Canelo's Trinidad. I know y'all don't see it yet, but you'll see it. I know y'all don't see it, but you'll see it. Coach Rivera, if I'm not mistaken, Ring Magazine is owned by Oscar. Can I be wrong? So if Smith is number 1 from the beginning, sounds like a setup for Canelo's Smith since day one. I mean, remember that Canelo is no longer with Oscar. You know what I mean? So why would Oscar be doing him favors? Just saying. Boston Jarrett says, if Rosado face fall apart like it normally does, I can see late round stoppage. That's not true, Boston Jarrett. I'm going to help you on that. Rosado's face has been actually holding up. Remember, he got surgery after the Gennady face and scraped the insides of his eyelids. Not eyelids, but like right above the eyebrow, because he did have a lot. Remember, he was a bleeder, big bleeder, but he stopped bleeding. Think about it. You know, you remember him bleeding in? Oh shit, I'm still doing that in the Selecki fight. Do you remember him bleeding in the Selecki fight? I don't know. I think like he hasn't bled in a minute. No. Oh,
Not even a little bit. He hasn't done it in a minute.
Yeah, I think he's been holding up okay. But I get what you're saying, man. Linares was like that, you know. Anytime you blew on Linares, you know, his own mom kissed him on the cheek. He started bleeding once. But we're going to go out to the callers, man. We want to get your thoughts. Obviously, we want you to preview and predict Jacobs versus Rosado. Then I want to know, where do you want to see Jacobs go? This is the last fight on Dazn. And 2, who do you consider Jacobs' 2 biggest wins? Let's go, champ. Let's go.
These calls are brought to you by El Camino Electrical Services, experts in electric vehicle charging stations. For consultations and turnkey installation, visit us at elcaminoelectricalservices.com.
Remember to rate us 5 stars on iTunes.
Subscribe to youtube.com/theboxingvoice for the latest and greatest interviews with your favorite fighters.
Let's go. We going out to Brandon in Cincinnati, man. Where you been at, man? You just waking up from all them leftovers, all that turkey?
Hey, whole nother time zone. Jumped up for back with our mind on. Can't play when you here, get your life stole. If you bring it here, then the price grow. Folks jabbing and punching the line long. I drop a pitcher, let 9 go. We slap with the fake glass and white go. This only happens in Ohio.
Can you hear me?
Yes, sir.
Yeah, I got Daniel Jacobs by stoppage. I think he stops Gabe Rosado. Every time I think of Gabe Rosado, I just remember think of that Angulo fight. Angulo whooping his ass. I think Jacobs gonna do something similar to that. But as far as what's next with Jacobs, I would like to see Jacobs versus Charlo. I like fights with a little bit of history and the storyline, so they got some history in the story on. I like that next. And as far as Jacobs' 2 biggest wins, I agree with you. I think it would probably be Truax and Kid Chocolate, but I think the Selecki and Deborah Chico taking their O's, I give him credit for that. Them guys still on the championship contender level, but he took their O's. So he gets credit for those.
Hey, yo, just for argument's sake, who's your 2 biggest wins for Canelo?
Probably Triple G and Laura, maybe.
All right. Thank you for calling in. You guys know the number to call in, 14255695241. Press 1 one time. Voice your opinion right here. Voice of the People hotline. We going out to Tampa, Florida. Dennis, what up?
Look, the fire's coming. Are you ready for the fire? We're firemen. We are firemen. Evil one production. Okay.
BoxingVoice.com.
Hey, thanks for picking me. Coño, man, I remember watching Gabe fight Lemieux, and as the fight terrible for him. I wish he had stopped fighting with Lemieux after Lemieux. Bro, he's one of those fighters for me, bro, that like when I just see Cotto get hurt, it would hurt me. When I just see Trinidad get hurt, it would hurt me. But with Danny, I don't feel that much. I don't know, that's just me, even though I want him to win. But my point is, bro, I just hope he don't take a lot of punishment, bro. But I tell you, like I will always say, every time he punches Daniel's corny ass in the mouth, I'm going to be screaming. Most fights like this, I lose my voice. That's what happens. All right, peace out to everybody. I appreciate the opportunity.
Dennis, thanks for calling in. We going to Mr.
Thank you, Dennis.
Mr.
Hold on.
What
Super
up?
chat, Coach Rivera. Oscar and Canelo's beef, it was in the middle of the year.
Nah, man. Oscar and Canelo haven't even spoken for what they said, 3 years or 1 year? And everything they've been doing has been through lawyers. Chill, champ. Wrong yet again. Time to go out to Seattle, Washington.
Mr. PBC, baby. BoxingVoice.com.
From the fire. Canelo talking about he believe he can win. Go to my kitchen. if they sharp as knife, you cut the bullshit out. I don't care what you do good. I do every fucking thing great.
Mr. PBC, baby.
No PBC. We going out to that one white boy, John in Texas. He's going to be in our big fight between himself and for Surefire D of, I believe, Houston. So, yeah, look out for that one white boy. It's coming.
BoxingVoice.com.
When I was locked up in county jail, I thought the Southside was gonna fight. I knocked out Southside. Teardrop.
BoxingVoice.com.
What you got to say about that, Deontay? What you got to say about that, my man?
Hold on a second.
Sorry that I missed your call.
Yo, what's good, TBV?
What up?
Nothing, man. Just about to start sparring again. Last day of sparring. Getting ready for Surefire D. I know he's coming with the heat. So am I. I got Rosado in the fight. He's a dog. And I have him winning by KO. I ain't got a round, but I would like to see him knock out Danny Jacobs. Yeah, he's got 12 losses, but the man knows how to take an L. He ain't scared to get in the ring. And I'm rolling with Rosado, man. I know Jacobs has got the better wins on his record, of course, but I don't care. I'm an underdog kind of guy. I'm riding with Rosado. I hope you guys have a great day. Just know I'm training hard, and it's going to be the best fight on Border Wars, no doubt. So tune in. If you're not a Patreon, sign up. You're not going to want to miss it, dude. Homeboy's got 6 amateur fights. He's 3-3 with supposedly a Golden Glove win. But here in the state of Texas, man, you got to have 10-0. You got to be 10-0 just to be invited for a Golden Glove. So I don't believe it. You need more people. I appreciate it, though. Thank you for lining me up with somebody who needs. I don't know. It doesn't look like you need a whole lot, but I need him. How about that? I need that dub, and I'm going to catch it. Appreciate it, guys. Yeah, have a good one.
Here we go. That one white boy.
All right. Looks like Dom is available. Talk to us, Mr. PBC. Dom, Mr. PBC. Dom, told you, man, we keep going to you. You the one that ain't talking, champ. All right. JT, New Orleans.
So interesting when you come across like a nice guy, but you're really a piece of shit. Hey, with that comment. No, that was a piece of fuck you. That was a piece of shit. You know, we're doing live TV. Man, I don't care. What you gonna do about it?
I'll tell you this, mother. Why do you have to talk like that? Well, I'm talking to you the way I want to talk to you. You have a problem? Turn off your station. I'm the best ever.
Yo, hey, y'all got some runs today? I'm gonna keep you on the 15. Just
JT knocking out, or you just out there?
Hey, Ness, come back to me.
All right. Majid, Orlando, what's going on?
Majid, what up?
What up, man? Everybody need to like the video and subscribe and join Patreon for something. I feel like this fight, Danny Jacobs, he should win, but I feel like no matter how this go, it's going to be a nice little bloody one, you know what I'm saying? Like, this going to be for those people that like wars, so, yeah, man, I'm going to just tune in for the fight, and as far as the end of his contract, unlike Danny Jacobs, he be getting fights and shit, so I ain't even going to predict what that dude going to do because he stay with options. That's all I got.
All right. Let me go to CYP, California.
Yo, Daniel Jacobs, he gonna win. It's gonna be a good fight though, because Gabe brings the pain. He gonna take an L though, like he always do. But the reason why I brought that up with the Trout versus my man Jacobs is you think that would be Charlo's biggest name if he fought Jacobs, and I'm like, I don't know, because Trout beat Cotto when Cotto was 32. Like that was a prime Cotto he beat. And that's a big ass win. And the only people that beat Trout are champions. Trout does not have any losses to a Pirog. He don't have any losses to a Pirog. He didn't get knocked down by a dude like Sergio Moore, even though Sergio Moore is a good dude, but he's not known for his power. Not known for his power. So I don't know, man. Trout may lose, but you got to be real good to beat Trout. That's all I'm saying. And Jacobs, sorry, man, you did lose to Pirog. So I'm gonna go with Trout being the bigger name than Jacobs. Because if Jacobs lose 2 more fights, he gonna be just like Trout. he already lost 3 big fights. He lose 1 more, he's just like Trout. Shit. CYP out.
I'm just glad everybody heard you say in order to beat Trout, you got to be real good. You heard that? You heard that? Francis ain't here, man. He all busy.
Hell yeah,
and
of
shit.
course I heard that. What are you talking about? I'm right here.
He said you got to be
I
real
was about to
good.
get in there.
Damn, Keith want to do 30. Nice and dead air from Francis. Knowing I'm texting Keith Conley over here.
I didn't know you were texting Keith Conley because
Man,
you
I
said that
just
Keith
said
Conley
Keith
was
wanna
going to do
do
something
one-
like that and something
He
like
said
that.
he
But listen,
wanna
yo,
do
CYP,
30
honestly,
minutes
your
from
point
now.
that you came up with was kind of crazy to say that, Trout got a better win. I don't really believe that, but listen, let me
What
tell
do
you
you
something.
mean? You glossing over his argument. How could you not agree? Trout beat Cotto. That's the cornerstone of my argument for Canelo's win over him. And it's undeniable. He's got one of the greatest wins in boxing, beating a prime Cotto. Sorry, bro.
I hear you. I hear you.
And
Strong argument. I hear you.
No, it is, bro. And he only lost to Jamel and Jamal and Canelo, or rather Jamal, Canelo, and Hurd. Was it Hurd?
Mm-hmm.
Who was also a champ? So yeah, nah, man. That Trout, I'm telling you, that's what I'm saying. Look, that's when I started being a fan. Like, whoa, he's really about to fight the dude that upset Cotto, and he's a southpaw. What the hell? But I know some people can't remember back that far, man. I get it. We went to Brandon. We going out to Coach J Mac. Coach J Mac.
You know how these bitches is in the sport. Total disrespect. Kid has no class, no style.
I'm a gorilla, I'm a dog. I'm a dog, I'm a gorilla.
The smartest thing you can do is to stay away from Derek.
He can't be the boogeyman if I'm chasing him. You want to bet on? You can bet 100,000 on that. Let's bet $1 million. Easy. Let's bet $1 million.
Oh, you're not interested in Gabe Rosado and Jacobs, huh? No? Okay.
Hello, is anybody there?
JT coming back to you. JT. Steve in Chicago.
My town up in K-Town.
Hey, Daddy, this a dollar beat.
I drink soda, I eat pizza. I hang out with chicks all day. These fighters still can't beat me. They fighting every day, they in the gym every day. Just give me 6 weeks, and I got it.
Boxingwiz.com.
Can you hear me?
Yes, sir, man. I see you working out. That's you in the gym?
Yeah, man. I'm putting a little work, man. I got Jacobs. I'm just getting off a bike, so I'm a little winded.
All right. I guess you muted yourself because we do not hear you anymore. Let's see here. Anybody there? All right. Well, in the meantime, let's go to what looks like a new caller once upon a time. Now, he's not. You see how I did that? John in Michigan, what up?
Slick.
I'm really excited for this Jacobs fight. To beat Jacobs, you got to be really good, and I don't think Rosado is on Jacobs' level. I mean, Jacobs, he's only lost to champions, so, I'm not going to hate on the dude. Came back from cancer, knocked out Peter Quinn in 1 round. Jacobs is legit no matter how you cut it. He can fight, and, he was the first person to stop Julio Cesar Chavez Jr. So I'm not going to hate on him. I mean, Chavez Jr.'s, left leg probably weighed more than Jacobs that fight. So he was over there, had him all cut up. So Jacobs is no slouch. So I'm looking forward to this fight. I hope that he could get a title match with somebody at 168, whether it's Plant or Billy Joe Saunders. I believe he beats both of them, just looking at his resume and seeing the people that he beat compared to those people. So I like Jacobs a lot. I think he's going to get him out of there in like 8 rounds. But I think it's going to be a good fight for maybe the first 3 rounds.
Where do you rank Billy Joe Saunders in terms of a fighter?
I mean, he's definitely in the top 4. It's just that Billy Joe Saunders, he looked his best, in my opinion, against David Lemieux. And, I mean, Willie Monroe was good, but it's just Willie Monroe. He's always lost to the top people, kind of like Rosado. It's just that I don't think Willie Monroe gotten the opportunities that Rosado's gotten.
Definitely. But Rosado's blood and guts, man.
Cut it.
Politics of boxing indicate that Willie Monroe has to get less fights because he's a boxer first, where Rosado is there to fight and lose, entertaining the fans. Going back to Steve in Chicago. Apologies, man. You know how Skype is. They said we did too many shows today.
I didn't realize I was talking to myself then, huh?
Nah, everybody on Skype heard you. Just the rest of the world didn't.
Okay, you hear me? Because I'm walking out of this place. Okay. So what I was saying is, I think Jacobs is going to beat Rosado. He's going to knock him out. And I definitely think he's a player at 168. I told you before, he's a different fighter at 168, in my opinion. I think he could rematch Canelo and probably beat him at 168. That's my opinion. But, yeah, I think he could beat any of the champs at 168. He'd definitely be 50-50 with any of them, with Plant, Benavidez, any of them guys. So he's definitely a player, in my opinion.
What's his 2 greatest wins? 2 greatest wins in your eyes?
Well, I agree with you. It's probably Quillen and who was the other guy you were saying? I forget now. I'm not looking in front of me, but you mentioned it. I agree with you. The 2 that you said.
Okay, I think I said Quillen and Caleb Truax. All right, now here we go. I don't see my good friend Francis, so I'll bring him back in, and we're gonna get to what looks like the 316. Who is that by heart? I don't know, my friend. I'm gonna have to check this list and let us know who's that. Let me see. But Francis, you back? What up, man? I lost you, bro. I had a whole restart over here on YouTube.
Yeah, I know. It just restarted.
But what's good, man? I just got done with Steve's call. He agrees with me. Definitely agrees on the 2 wins that Jacobs, in terms of Peter Quillen and Truax being his 2 biggest. He believes that Jacobs is a player at 68. He says 50-50 fights with all those top names. Looks like this is Mad Bent 100. What's going on?
Good day. Shows galore. Anyway, I agree with you. Jacob's 2 best wins, Quillen and Truax. But I think Jacob can beat on Rosado. However, I do expect some fireworks because Jacob has been known to have a suspect chin in some fights. We never expected Sergio Mora to drop Jacob. So, and that's why he was an underdog against Quillen, because everybody thought he was going to get knocked out because of the chin. He's like his stablemate, Dominchenko. They step up, but they lose. You know what I mean? It's like maybe it's a camp thing. They step up, they lose. Just like Showtime. What is my man Curtis Stevens? He step up, loses.
Let me ask you a question. Do you respect, what do you give more credit to? Someone that became world champion or someone that, I don't know, got more television time?
It depends. It depends. I respect the guy who step up and fight competition, which we're going to see tomorrow with Dubois and out in England. You know, I would say world champion. Somebody becomes world champion.
Okay. Yeah, I like world
But
champions, man.
television time gives you more exposure, popularity. You know what I mean? So, but yeah, I expect Jacobs to win. However, I would not be surprised if he's hurt coming up with tech against Rosado. But Rosado comes to fight.
All right. Well,
That's my
Mad Bent, 100. Thanks for calling in, my friend. Thanks for calling in. Let's see here. We got Hawk in Maryland.
Hello.
What up?
Hey, what's up, fellas? The return. Y'all boys is killing it. Y'all boys killing it again today. Man, this Jacobs fight is just a fight, man. I mean, for me, Jacobs, he don't show up in the big fights like he used back in the. He really don't show up. He against Canelo, he looked like he was fighting him scared. Against Triple G, he didn't get going to the last part. And, you know, I'd rather see him step out there and fight one of them, that Charlo, what's his name, Jamal. Fight one of them. But this fight right here is really not, to me, he has nothing to win in this fight. He's got to look really good, or he's just going to go to looking average to everybody in this fight. He really should take this guy out. And if he don't, it's going to be more suspect than anything. He's gonna really need a Charlo fight to get him back. And I don't think he can beat Charlo. I don't have him doing nothing with Charlo.
What's Jacob's two biggest wins in your eyes? Jacob's two biggest wins.
They didn't give him the one with Triple G because he kind of started off slow.
Okay, you thought he won that.
I really can't put a finger. I kind of thought he came back in that fight. Yeah. I think Triple G got the nod on that one because he had Triple G had the name there.
Cut it. Nah, hey Francis, don't you got to cut out 2 minutes or you straight?
No, I'm here rocking with you. We good, man. We good. Let's rock.
Oh snap! Let me see, son. I think, cause I need a fucking secretary, bro. I'm telling ya. We got Jeff Mayweather on. See, if we'd have been on that, let me see what time. We at 12:12. We just wasted like 18 minutes. Jeff probably busy and shit. If I'd have seen his message when he first hit me, he could have probably jumped on. Let's see if he's still available. See who he think got the biggest wins. You know what I'm saying? Talk that boxing. Good old Jeff Mayweather, man. God is good.
There'd be nothing better than that right now.
Yeah, nah, he should be jumping on, though. You know the number to call in, 142556950-241. Press 1 time. Voice your opinion right here on the Voice of the People hotline. And don't forget you can add Nestor Gibbs on Skype. We're going to keep going down the line here. We went to Brandon. Went to J-Mac. Uh-oh, I see the unified heavyweight champion of the world. We're going to mix it up, man.
Allow me to reintroduce myself. My name is
the Fighting Pride of London, England, and once again, the heavyweight champion of the world, the man known as AJ, Anthony Joshua.
Hey, yo, Ness, I'm not driving no more.
Oh!
Hey, listen, like this intro is no good, man. You need to delete it, man.
Oh, man, you don't want that at all. Okay, I'll delete it.
But it's all good. It's all good. I have no idea what you guys have been talking about.
All right, all good. Let me ask you a series of questions. What's the two biggest wins on Canelo's resume?
Damn. Golovkin and I want to say Trout.
All right. What's the two biggest wins on Daniel Jacobs' resume?
Jacobs, he lost those big ones, man. I would say Peter Quillen.
Oh, good one.
And who else has he got? Jacobs. I would say he's like his stablemate then, like, you know, the Derevchenko.
Ooh, good one. I forgot that one. Is Derevchenko better than the Caleb Truax who beat James DeGale to become a world champion?
I mean, like, Caleb Truax fought like James DeGale, like a short version. I think competitively,
but he was an underdog, Mitty. He was still a
yeah, that's true.
underdog.
That's true. It wasn't supposed to win that fight. That's true. That was like kind of like a cherry pick kind of fight, or not cherry pick, but just like winning style at home. But yeah, no, Derevchenko was a better matchup, like more of an even 50-50 matchup. And but I don't know. I don't want to downplay what Caleb Truax did because I didn't pick him to win and he won. So I guess that's a good win, man.
Yeah, no, but you know what? I forgot about Derevchenko. So I guess that's a good one. I still value world champion. Let me ask you though, what's Billy Joe Saunders' 2 biggest wins?
You're doing that. David Lemieux has to be definitely up there. And what's the hell? His Irish compadre. Why am I just forgetting his name now? I just got his face right there.
Irish who?
Yeah, like
Andy Lee?
Andy Lee, yeah.
Oh,
Andy
so
Lee.
so not Chris Eubank in your eyes.
No, because like they were both like unproven at the time, right? Young and exactly, and you know, and Eubank hasn't really done anything after that either.
And Jeff, what's going on? Mitty, I'm gonna get right back to you, man. We're gonna ask Jeff these same questions, man. We're gonna see. Jeff, how are you, brother? Thank you for taking out the time to jump on the show with us and talk a little bit of boxing, man. Everything good?
Good, man. Yeah.
Appreciate you, man. So we're talking we work a lot. So right before this show, we were talking Canelo Alvarez and his fight with Liam Smith. So I do want to get your take on Callum Smith. Liam is the one he already beat. So like he's going for brothers, kind of the way the Trout went once upon a time when he beat Rigoberto Alvarez. He didn't get to do it with Canelo though. What's your thoughts on Callum Smith as a fighter?
I'm gonna be honest, I don't know nothing about him at all, period. I mean, there's a lot of fighters. I mean, don't get me wrong. Of course, I'm involved in boxing, but there's still a lot of fighters that I don't even know. And he happens to be one of them.
So you haven't even heard that name much in the industry as far as you're concerned?
No, I haven't heard much about him at all.
No, that's a beautiful argument.
Thank you, Mr. Mayweather. How you doing, Mr. Weather? This is Francis from Toronto, Canada, and I have to cut off Mr. Biasness over there for a second there because he likes to drive the story that yes, Callum Smith is number 1 ranked in the division, but nobody knows him, and that's no disrespect to Callum Smith, by the way. But we know the names of the David Benavidez and the Kalos plants. But yeah, continue, Ness.
I'm saying, I mean, Jeff, you was a fighter, Jeff. Does that matter who knows you, or does it matter if you can fight? Did you go mute, Jeff, or you thinking hard on us? What's going on?
No. I mean, I'm still here. I mean, it seemed like your voice was dragging.
Oh, I was saying, damn, what did I say? I think I said, does it matter how popular you are, or does it matter that you can fight? In your opinion, as a former fighter, because in my opinion, I ain't gonna lie, sometimes it does matter how popular you are for me.
I mean, don't get me wrong. How popular you are matters to the promoters. But how good you can fight, I mean, it shouldn't matter. It shouldn't matter to anyone because, I mean, that's how upsets are done every fight. So, I mean, if the guy is a hidden talent, I mean, just unknown talent, I mean, eventually it'll show up. And, and if he prevails, he gets in the spotlight. All of a sudden, he does become somebody.
Let me ask you about somebody you might know, Daniel Jacobs. You heard of him from New York City?
Yeah.
Cool.
Yeah, I know Daniel.
He's supposed to be fighting with Gabe Rosado this weekend on Dazn. Obviously, we're picking him to win. But it's said to be the last fight on his Dazn contract. and we're kind of thinking about what's next. He did an interview with Akin Barak on SiriusXM, and also an interview on the Porter Way podcast. Shout out to Sean Porter, got his own podcast. And, he said Jamal is who he would really like, but Jamal's with PBC. What do you think about that fight, and do you know Jamal Charlo well enough to, I guess, break that one down for us? Jacobs, Jamal Charlo.
Well, I mean, I think that would be a great fight. I don't know who would win. I mean, I think Charlo is probably the better puncher, and but I think that Jacobs also has enough boxing skills to possibly beat him. But he has to fight a very smart fight. I mean, he's a younger, Charles is a younger fighter, and of course, he's gonna bring it. But I think that either guy could easily win that fight, But so I mean, I would put it this way: I would tune in to watch it. I think it'll be a great fight for boxing.
No, how you doing, Mr. Mayweather? I gotta ask you a question. It's a little bit left, but I gotta take off in a few minutes and have an interview I have to conduct. But I wanted to ask you a question that I personally believe in my heart, but you're closer to the situation than I am, so I wanted to shed some light to it for me. I feel like ever since your brother, R.I.P. to Roger Mayweather, passed away, I felt like Floyd took on a different role in kind of like what Roger used to do, would step up and teach these fighters a little bit more intimate the skills of boxing. I just wanted to know if maybe they had a conversation and maybe Roger spoke to him and said, Floyd, I think you pass on the knowledge to the younger generation, these young fighters, and help them to move forward. That's my narrative, but I know you're close to the situation, and I see it because Deontay Wilder is having a bit of issue with Floyd, so to speak, training him. But a lot of us believe that would be amazing because Floyd is a master at what he does.
Yes, but at the same time, Floyd is still not actually a trainer. You can have all the knowledge in the world, but still not be able to teach it the exact same way it was taught to you. I mean, he got that knowledge from Roger and from his dad. And I'm not saying that he can't, he can display it and actually teach Deontay the same thing. But I just think that, you just don't walk away. You don't just walk away from boxing and then become a trainer, especially when you're talking about you're one of the top fighters that ever step in the ring in boxing, to all of a sudden just walk away from boxing and then become a trainer. That's not going to happen. Are you
of the mindset that it would be a little bit difficult for him to impart something in one training camp to help Wilder against a Fury if they were to fight?
I mean, don't get me wrong. I mean, I think that one training camp I think would be sufficient. I mean, I think that would, but the thing is that also, I mean, I don't know, because him and Wilder's relationship has never been, it's never been good. So I don't see why Wilder would reach out to him. I mean, I think that it's more just the public and people that actually like the fact that Floyd even spoke about doing it. I think that's what it is more than Wilder himself, because Wilder himself has never even said that he even cared about Floyd training him.
But that's the thing, Jeff. Like, as fight fans, we would I see the benefit in Floyd training Wilder. I could see obviously help in the pay-per-view buys department. Now the public sees, the casual public sees Deontay Wilder being trained by TBE, Floyd Mayweather. I could see Floyd teaching him how a world-class training camp goes. Not to say he hasn't done one, but from Floyd Mayweather's perspective. I just feel that the merger could be great, but we've seen the quotes that you're talking about in terms of Wilder and how he feels about Floyd. But can we talk about that? You not being Floyd, but I mean, just as a man, if you're Wilder hearing Floyd say, yeah, I'm willing to train him, is it anyone's specific job to reach out? How could we get these two? Because Floyd is saying on multiple occasions, they asked him in the UK, they asked him again here in America, he remains saying the same thing. If he wants, I can teach him. But is it Floyd's job to call him? Should Al set that meeting up? How could we get these two together? Because I think that would be the dynamic duel, even if it's only financially on the pay-per-view buy side.
I mean, don't get me wrong. I mean, I don't necessarily know how. I mean, because don't get me wrong. They're both grown men, so it's not that hard, really. If they both want to connect to one another, it's not that hard. I mean, Floyd knows people that are involved with Wilder, and Wilder knows people that are involved with Floyd. So it's just a matter of, maybe, one of them, allowing their ego not to make them feel like they're the bigger party, and not by not reaching out. So, I mean, I just think that it's just a matter of, if it's something that you really in your heart want to do, pick up the phone. Mm-hmm. I mean, somebody knows both of these guys' number. So if it's going to happen, it could easily happen. That's how I think.
Now, Jeff,
I take issue with it. Sorry, I take issue with it because I have a hard time believing that Floyd Mayweather can't impart something stylistically or skill-wise to help a Wilder who has a right hand that is dynamite. It's just little tweaks and nuances that I've seen him work with certain fighters. That's where my little hang up is. And you being his uncle, obviously, we're a little better than me. But that's where I have a drop off.
Well, I mean, myself, I do think that Floyd can help Wilder, but at the same time, like I said, I mean, it's a matter of okay, well, Floyd can help him, but does Wilder want his help? That's the end result, is basically if Wilder wants his help, what I mean? And of course, I mean, Floyd might be just trying to make amends with him and say, okay, let's move forward past beyond what we, went through in the past, because I know both of them have said negative things about one, obviously, and that's probably Floyd's way of reaching out and saying, let's forget about what happened in the past. Let's move forward and let's try to make something happen together. So, I mean, that's showing that Floyd is reaching out to him, but still reaching out to him in that way might not be enough for him. He might need Floyd to get on the phone and say, look, whatever was wrong between us, let's put that behind us and let's move forward, and let's try to make something happen and try to, get your title back.
Man, I love
and
that.
that might be what he needs.
I love that, but do you think it can happen? Because that's what it is. Like, is Floyd going to be able to say, you know what, I'm going to go ahead and just call this dude? Because we heard what Wilder said and how he feels. He expressed that, and I hope Floyd got to hear that on the Brian Custer Last Stand podcast. And Wilder really feels like, look, man, this man's always bet against me. He's never had nothing. Why he wants to train me now? So I don't want it to be Floyd's job to have to call, but kind of with Wilder pouring out his emotions on that podcast, I would love Floyd to pick up. Like, look, man, I never meant to, hurt your feelings. Let's get this belt back for America.
I mean, don't get me wrong. And I mean, to be honest, I think that it would have to be Floyd reaching out to him, because Wilder is not going to reach out to him specifically because of just what you just said. Mm-hmm. If this man has not supported me all this time, why all of a sudden now he wants to support me? And why? And if he wants to support me, show me that you want to support me in that way by picking up the phone. Be a man, pick up the phone and say, look, let's work together.
Jeff, would you be
Hold
part
on,
of that camp?
Can I get another question off before I go? I gotta go. I got an interview with 6040, aka Ravone Littlejohn, in about 10 minutes. So I don't want to keep him waiting. You know what I'm saying? Good up to Nexus Sports Talk and check him out if you after this is done right here. But Jeff, I just wanted to ask you a quick question. If you were to stack up Shakur Stevenson, Gervonta Davis, Ryan Garcia, Teofimo Lopez, and Devin Haney. Who out of that bunch would you say is generational talent?
Let me see. I mean, I think all of those guys have.
Are we talking that Floyd generational type, that once in a that special. I know they're all special, but that special.
I mean, I work with Devin, and I've always told Devin that I thought he was going to be one of those fighters that, because I mean, even when he was I think Devin was probably about 13 or 14 years old, and I mean, he was so advanced, kind of reminded me a lot like Floyd. And so I think that he's going to be around for quite some time, but I also feel the exact same way about Teofimo. And I think even more so with Teofimo because of the fact is that Teofimo was brought up the exact same way Floyd was, in terms of with his dad, and his dad being more vocal than the son, and his dad telling everybody that, look, my son's the best fucking person, best fighter in this world today. I don't give a fuck what you say or nobody else say. And this is the same type of thing that Floyd Sr. was saying about his son, and nobody believed him. And then here it is, Lomachenko was supposed to be the best fighter in the world, and what happened? He said his son's going to beat him a long time ago. I was in the car with him. Me and him was driving. We were all driving to California, and he couldn't shut up. His dad was in the back seat, and he was talking the whole way. And he was saying, "My son going to fucking beat, is going to beat Lomachenko." And this was long before the fight even happened. And look what happened. It happened just like he said he would. And this is the exact same thing. It reminds me so much of Floyd Sr. because he did the exact same thing. And now, I remember when we first moved to Vegas, and everybody was talking, and we were talking about our nephew and how good he was going to be, and that he's going to be this, he's going to be that, so on and so forth. Nobody believed it. Only people who believed it was us because we knew. We knew what kind of potential he had. And that's exactly how I feel with Teofimo and his father. I mean, his father feels that exact same way. It's almost like me hearing the same thing all over again.
Beautiful. So Jeff, man, what do you think are Canelo's two biggest wins?
I would think the fight with what's the light heavyweight?
Kovalev. Wow. Okay.
Kovalev.
Thank you, Jeff Mayweather, man. That's what I'm talking about. You're a real boxing fan, man.
Let me say, Kovalev and let me see, well, and Triple G.
Yeah, Triple G. I hear you. Let me see. What are Floyd's greatest wins? Two greatest. The two greatest.
I would think Diego Corrales.
Mm-hmm.
And business-wise, Oscar De La Hoya.
I forgot Oscar. I said Castillo and Corrales. I forgot about Oscar. And I normally don't.
Because, don't get me wrong. I only picked that one because the fight wasn't great, but what happened after that fight led to greatness.
Mm-hmm. How do you feel about kind of that same situation? It's heavily documented that Floyd took short money and had to wear 10-ounce gloves to take on that fight with Oscar. And now we find out in the future that Teofimo was offered only $1.5 million at the end of it to face Lomachenko for all those belts, no rematch clause. What do you think about guys like that taking short money for the I guess bragging rights or legacy in the long run? What do you call that?
I mean, basically what I call it tremendous belief in yourself. Because the thing is this, I mean, you're not necessarily fighting for the money. You're fighting for, your potential is you want to be the greatest fighter in the world. You want to be the greatest fighter to ever put on a pair of gloves. You make those decisions because of that, not because, okay, well, if I don't get this money, it's not about the money. It's about the legacy.
Definitely is about the legacy, man. So I feel like it's a little bit of a slight to Teofimo and his family and even his fandom. I kind of feel like I value a pound for pound win higher than just you beating Kovalev, for instance, like Canelo, right? Like Canelo moved up, beat Kovalev at 175, and that's great because he started his career at 140. But Teofimo beating what was arguably the number 1 or number 2 guy on the pound for pound list, it kind of means something because not everyone gets to fight someone on the list because, that list is mythical. Everyone's different weights. But he beat Lomachenko, and they still have him like number 5 now on pound for pound. Do you think he's ranked in the right position after that win?
What, Teofimo?
Teofimo, yes. Where do you think he belongs on the pound for pound list after beating Lomachenko?
I think that he belongs probably no lower than number 2.
Woo!
I
Man,
mean,
Jeff, I didn't know we agreed so much.
Because because the fact is this: it'd have been different if there wasn't so much, so much glamour and everything attached to Lomachenko, and everything that Lomachenko did was bigger than life, And of course, I mean, it's one of those things also that we can't never take from boxing. We never take from life. Is the fact that his skin is white, so that also is a part of everything that we do, no matter what it is. And I think that also, it kind of raised Lomachenko's status way beyond where it really should have been in the first place to me. But with that being said, and everybody jumping behind it, because I mean, I was on the phone with all these guys that basically thought Lomachenko was it's going to be a walk in the park, and basically, and I mean, and then the same thing was said about, I don't know why, that Terence Crawford was getting ready to get, because it was coming from guys from England for one reason. I don't know why, but still, they was all on Lomachenko's, on his nuts, like he was the best thing to ever, walk in. But it's one of those things. And so basically, of course, because he was white, and his status, it got perpetuated to a level way beyond where it should have been in the first place to me. And I think that with Teofimo stepping in there and not just beating him clearly, cleanly, and making sure that if you would have had a rematch, you still would have got beat. But the thing is this, is that it worked out in the way it was supposed to, because Teofimo didn't get a rematch. He had no rematch clause because they figured that he had no chance of winning. But once he won, he said, fuck you. You're not getting rematch because I don't need you. And so I think that everything worked out exactly the way it should have and the way it's supposed to.
Fantastic, Mr. Mayweather. I know you are a very straightforward gentleman and a scholar, and I can see that Mr. Nestor Gibb was leading the witness. So I have to bring you back on track a little bit. We had a conversation regarding Teofimo and Gervonta. Now you don't have to if you don't want to.
Yes.
I stood up and I said that the man of the division is Gervonta Davis without the titles because he brings the money. The titles that Teofimo has is good. They're titles, but he brings the hardware. Gervonta bring the money. Do you agree or disagree with that? And that's my final thing. I just want to hear what you say. Thank you very much. You're awesome. I'm a fan. And yeah, Ness.
Wait, man. I mean, so is the question who's the A side or not? Like, just
who's the A side? Yeah, exactly.
Who's the A side? If they fight next.
Stop leading the witness.
No, because he has to know the scenario, right? If they fight next, who is the A side?
Well, I mean, I'm going to be honest. My thing is this. I think that Teofimo actually would be the A side because,
Come on, Jeff.
no, for this reason, because Spanish.
Let's go.
No one goes out and pays for fights more than the Spanish people. He has a much bigger following than Gervonta. You know, I mean, don't get me wrong. I mean, what will happen in a fight? I don't know. I mean, it'll be a great fight. But
I hear you. No,
in terms of fanfare, I think that that Teofimo has a bigger following because he's Spanish. He's Hispanic.
Jeff, I think you know what happened in the fight, man. You've been at the Mayweather gym when Gervonta trains there, and you've also been there when young Teofimo has been in that gym. I mean, I'm sure you have at least a hunch of how that fight can go.
I mean, I know it's a tough fight, and I think that either guy can win. I think that both of them have great punching power, and I think that what people doesn't realize about Gervonta, most people, just because he knocks everybody out, no one actually takes time to look at that guy's boxing skills. He has great boxing skills as well. You know, but I think Teofimo, as far as boxing skills, his boxing skills, I think are better than Gervonta. But still, I think Gervonta has the edge in power. So when you put that all together, I mean, it's a fight that either guy can win.
Now, so Mr. Mayweather, can I ask you a question? What changes for you when you have Teofimo, who says that he's undisputed, but he's calling Devin Haney the email champion? Now, Mauricio Suleiman has definitely created a shitstorm here of of different proportions. How would you do? You blame it on the fighters? Do you blame it on the sanctioning bodies for this type of crap?
I mean, put it this way. I mean, I understand exactly what he's saying because Devin was given a belt. He didn't fight for a belt. He was given a belt. So I do understand what Teofimo was saying, but that's not Devin's fault. You know, I mean, you know, because Lomachenko, they created a whole fucking different belt for this guy. And then all of a sudden, he can say, okay, well, I don't want to be the champion of this belt. I'm just going to keep this belt. And gave the belt to Devin and never had to fight for it or anything or defend it or anything. So, I mean, I think that boxing is starting to, you know, just live solely off the sanctioning fees, it seems like, because they're creating so many goddamn belts that is ridiculous.
Mr. Mayweather, you're gonna make me so late for my interview, man. You are on fire today, man. I'm trying to leave it. I can't because you just keep dropping. Oh my, Ness, I gotta get you to Ness. You lucky I gotta go because Jeff, what do you mean he has a bigger fan base? No, but Teofimo has a bigger fan base than Tank Davis? Oh my, we can talk about it all day long.
Hey man, don't be mad, man. Listen, man. Jeff. I'm intrigued to know, who do you think Terrence Crawford's two biggest wins are? The two greatest on his resume.
Once again, I picked Gamboa for status, and I think that because that was a fight that kind of opened the eyes of everybody and realized that this kid can really fight. And let me see. And then I think I don't know. I don't necessarily really know the other one because I mean a lot of the guys that Terrence Crawford fight are not really household names. So I mean, you know, I mean, to me, it may even be Kell Brook, even though that was his last fight. Because Kell Brook, I mean, to me, everybody thought that Kell Brook absolutely had a chance of winning. And I predicted that Kell Brook would give him trouble early, but would get knocked out. Exactly like it happened. I mean, I didn't think it would be that early, but I thought that he was going to get shot.
What did you think of that overhand right? Did you call that a jab from a trainer's perspective? Was that a jab in a southpaw position, or was that a hook that just was so?
I thought I thought it was a jab.
Oh, okay.
I thought it was a jab. Just it just landed in the right place. And I mean, there's a few fighters that have been knocked down by jabs, but
this year, man, Charlo just did it with Rosario, remember?
Yeah, sure did. So I mean, it does happen. It does happen. So I mean, and I think that the one thing I think what people don't realize is that Crawford has a lot of dog in him. I mean, he seemed like he's just a humble guy that don't really say too much and things like that. But when he gets in that ring, I mean, he turns into somebody totally different. He turns into a complete beast, and I think that, whoever steps in there with him, I mean, you're talking about a guy that's basically, a complete fighter. I mean, a guy that can beat your ass left-handed, beat your ass right-handed, beat you going forward, beat you going backwards. I mean, he's basically he's everything, and I mean, and the thing is that at any given time, he has enough power to hurt whoever's in front of him, and I mean, and he has great boxing skills. The only thing that he doesn't have that would hurt him, eventually somewhere down the line, possibly, is his defense is not great.
What about his chin? You because a lot of people think that he was dropped in that last fight with Cat Velasquez, and we've seen him hurt in the Gamboa fight. I think the Benavidez fight, or did you not see him hurt in any of those?
Well, I seen him hurt, but I mean, it is boxing, and the one thing is this: when you get hurt, how you come back is what you're judged by. Not just because you got hurt, because if you don't never get hurt, no one ever knows anything. No one's gonna ever know if you can even fight at all. I mean, don't get me wrong. I mean, that's just like when Floyd fought Shane Mosley. That's when everybody found the dog in Floyd, And I mean, and if he didn't get hit like in most of the fights that he don't get hit in, you never would have no one would have never ever even known that Floyd can take a punch or it can come back from that, and that's part of it. That's part of the sport as well. You got to be able to take it and dish it out.
What are Earl Spence's 2 greatest wins, in your opinion?
Cal Brook, and because that was a fight that did it for him, far as in terms of totally making him go to another level. And Sean Porter. Sean Porter. And that was a fight that could actually, if he hadn't get that knockdown, could have easily went the other way.
One moment, Jeff. Keith. Sorry about that, Jeff. That was Keith Conley, manager of Daniel Jacobs. We were supposed to have him on like 1:45, but obviously today's fight day for them, and they got a little bit busy. Right. So yeah, we're talking Earl Spence, and you gave us his 2 greatest wins. You gave him credit for Sean Porter, right?
Right. Yeah, that's what I said. Yes. Sean Porter, and Cal Brook.
Since we're on Porter, how much do you value 2-time champions? Kind of like Pedraza. He lost his belt to Gervonta, but he was able to become a champion again. Even Porter, same thing. Lost his belt to Brook, able to become a champion again. I think he beat Danny Garcia for the WBC. Where do you place your value in 2-time champions?
Well, I mean, to me, to be world champion just one time is enough. But when you can do it more than once, it just shows that you still have the desire, you have the work ethic, and not only that, most importantly is that you're not giving up on yourself, and that you're gonna go out there and you putting everything on the line. And I think that sometimes winning a title, having to win a title, I mean, some of the greatest fighters in history of the sport didn't win a title just once and kept it. I mean, some of them went up to higher weight classes, but some of them lost and won it back and lost, like Sugar Ray Robinson. In order to be 6-time world champion, he had to lose 5 times at least. And I mean, there's a lot of guys that are the exact same way. I mean, that have became multiple world champions. A lot of times, some even in the same weight class. So I think that, basically sometimes you may just have a bad night, and then sometimes, you had the wrong game plan. So anything can happen. And I think, I respect anyone that's a world champion. I mean, of any magnitude. I don't care if it's once, if it's 10 times or whatever. That really doesn't matter to me, but it's just the fact that, I mean, when you have a guy that does lose the title and then fight really hard to get back to it, that means that person is, they haven't lost their fire.
Definitely. Let me see here. What else do I got before I go to the people? So you did say your number 2, or rather not your number 2, but the Teofimo deserved to be number 2 on the pound for pound list. So who would you have as your number 1 if Teofimo's number 2?
I would think that Crawford deserves to be number 1. I mean, he's moved up in multiple weight classes, and most of the time when he won by knockout. I think that he deserves to be the number 1 guy, and he's been champion for quite some time now. And I mean, he has no recognition, but at some point, you have to give this guy his just dues.
You said he got no recognition.
I mean, to me, I don't think he got any recognition. Not the recognition that he deserved, but don't get me wrong. I also think that part of that is his own fault, because he's one of those guys that, if you're a champion, you have to open your mouth. Not in a sense of bragging or this or that or whatever, but if you're the champion, you have to say, I'm willing to fight this guy. I'm willing to do this, even if you're not. But you got to put it out there, and then make the fans, have something to look forward to.
Mm-hmm.
You don't have to fight. Like, he could have said that I wanted to fight Earl Spence. He could have said that, 3 years ago. But still, the fight, knowing that the fight is not going to happen no time soon, still, just allow that fight to manifest itself and build. And by the time it builds, and by the time the fight really does happen, that fight has a huge, huge following, and everybody wants to see it. Kind of like Floyd and Manny. It took 6 or 7 years for that fight to happen. But when it happened, I mean, they both cashed out, crazy. Mm-hmm. I mean, and so, I mean, sometimes it's the business approach, and sometimes it's just the fact that, I mean, the longer, I ain't gonna say the longer, because now you don't really want the fights to take that long to happen, because sometimes the prime is actually being missed. But I think that right now, it's a fight, those two, like I said, I mean, Terrence Crawford is kind of like, he's not vocal. He's not vocal in terms of, like, I want this guy, or I want this guy, or I want this guy. He just basically, he don't say anything, and I mean, in order to get recognition as a fighter and as a champion, you have to say something, I mean, Earl's kind of quiet too, but, and they're both great fighters, but still, they need to be vocal in terms of, the division, that what they want to do in this division, and how proud they is to be the champion of the division. Mm-hmm. You gotta make people believe that, not just that I have a title belt, but still there's other guys that have title belts as well, and those are the guys that I want to fight. I want to do a unification. I want to be the only champion in this weight class.
So I gotta ask, for argument's sake, if you put Crawford at number 1 for moving up, how is Canelo not at number 1 for moving up with better wins than Crawford.
Don't get me wrong. I mean, I think that, see, with me, I don't think once you become, I mean, Canelo, to me, realistically, Canelo to me is really right now the best fighter in boxing, period. I honestly believe that. But I also think that that pound for pound thing is not something that you get there and you never leave, because there's other fights sometimes, because sometimes when you get pound for pound and you get to the top, you start to fight. You can fight anybody you want to. And a lot of times, I mean, don't get me wrong. I mean, it's not like, every fight that Canelo fought was a very tough fight. I ain't saying that, but the thing is that, at some point, it's time for another face to be there, But I mean, honestly, in my honest assessment, no, I think Canelo is the best fighter in the world right now. I mean, hands down.
All right, I don't want to take too much time, so I'm going to go to the people. We got John Feliciano. He's actually from Michigan. He says, what's a fight in your eyes that gets the attention of the world? So what matchup?
I mean, basically what we just been talking about. Two guys that, that are rivals in a hot weight class. Basically, I mean, that's the fight that everybody wants to see. I mean, I think that the lightweight division right now is probably one of the hottest divisions, and the welterweight division is one of the hottest divisions. I think that, you have at least multiple champions in those weight classes that actually, that if you match them up, you don't know who's going to win. So that in itself is intriguing.
We have David Maldonado from New York City who says, what's up, Jeff? How would a fantasy fight between Prime Roberto Duran at 135 versus Pretty Boy Floyd at 135 go? Please, without family bias, because I think Prime 135 Duran wins because he had the Marcos Maidana type aggression to go along with real skills, defense, and slickness.
Well, I mean, me, myself, I mean, whether you say it or not, I mean, not just because he's my nephew. I mean, because, I mean, if I'm sitting at home and I'm watching Floyd Mayweather on TV, I mean, this guy is something I've never seen before, nephew or not. And so do I think that he would beat Duran? I think he would beat Duran too, because Duran showed that he can be beat by a boxer.
All right, we got George Foster in the UK that says, if you was training Wilder for his trilogy with Tyson Fury, what changes would you make?
I think I would take him back to the fundamentals of boxing, and that's what's wrong, because he got to a point where he only relied on his right hand, and whenever his right hand found the mark, I mean, whoever got hit by it was going to sleep. But I think that, once he got in there and he got in there with Tyson Fury and realized that, that right hand is not, it's not enough. You need something else. And I think that, he forgot about the fundamentals of boxing, using his jab and then the right hand coming behind it, and I mean, because Wilder's a good fighter, but I mean, he does need to go back to the fundamentals of boxing just to to have, just a different look, because I mean, if you all you doing is just waiting for the right hand to land the right hand, it's not going to work with everybody, because eventually somebody's going to say, wait a second, all I got to worry about is that right hand. And if you don't hit me clean with it, maybe I can beat him.
Absolutely. We got Mr. PBC Dom in Seattle says, how did you feel when Floyd beat Canelo and seeing Canelo now? And can you get Floyd on TBV, please? So how'd you feel when he beat Canelo?
Well, I mean, it's funny because one of my fighters at the time was Kevin Newman, and me and him was talking about Canelo, and he was talking so much about Canelo and how good he thought Canelo looked and everything. And I told him, I said, Floyd's gonna beat Canelo, and he's gonna beat Canelo easy. And he didn't believe me, but after the fight was over with, that was the first thing he came to me and said, Jeff, I couldn't believe that, Floyd beat him that easy. So, I mean, I always thought Floyd was going to beat him.
You know what? It's funny. You didn't mention that as Floyd's greatest win. Why not? Because that was like 11-0 or 12-0, and now Canelo goes on to be pound for pound. Why is that not his greatest win?
Well, I mean, to me, because I'm looking at, I mean, it's not one of Floyd's, to me, it's not one of Floyd's greatest wins because Floyd was already Floyd by that time. As opposed to when he beat Diego Corrales, it was almost like Thomas Hearns fighting Ray Leonard. The big puncher, undefeated, all these knockouts. And everybody thought that Corrales was going to knock Floyd out. And Floyd, that was one of his absolutely best performances ever, I thought. And then I picked De La Hoya just because of the fact that it was like the passing of the torch. Because once he beat De La Hoya, he never had to look back again.
We got Ryan Mesa, a.k.a. Dempsey, in, I believe, California. He says, on a scale from 1 to 10, how would you rate Earl Spence's sparring session with Floyd when they did spar some years ago?
Well, basically, all that stuff has been blown way, way, way out of proportion. I mean, it wasn't like, Earl did anything special. What he did special was the fact that he was a young fighter that actually, came in there and he sparred with Floyd. Floyd had already went 3 or 4 rounds already with somebody else. And then Earl came in. When Earl came in, the only thing, this is what made everybody think, with what all this buzz was going around, is the fact that when they sparred like 3 or 4 rounds after that, I think, and it was really like, it was nothing special. The sparring was nothing special. It was just the fact that Earl said, come on, let's go some more. And nobody's ever said that to Floyd. So basically that was taken out of context as though Floyd was scared or something, but he wasn't scared. He was done sparring, and then after that, when they sparred the next time, I mean, it was nothing, so I mean, and that's basically it, and that's my take on it because of the fact that Earl said, let's go another round. And Floyd said, no, because he was already done. So basically, and that was taken out of context, and I don't think that, neither one of them did anything special to either one of them. I mean, it wasn't like Earl did nothing that you can go home and say, oh, Earl did this. He didn't do nothing. And I mean, and basically, and Floyd was basically using defense most of the time when he was sparring.
There was the rumor that Earl gave him a black eye. No, not truth. No truth for that. Wasn't it for the Maidana fight, something like that?
Not that I see.
Okay.
I didn't see it.
And since we talking rumors and Earl, were you happen to be in the ring or around the gym when Earl sparred Adrian Broner?
No, I don't think they sparred in the Mayweather gym. I don't think so. I heard it was supposed to, I heard they sparred somewhere else. I don't know anything about that one either.
Okay. Well, anyway, we do got some more questions here. We got Brandon in Cincinnati. It says, is Bud Crawford this generation's Larry Holmes?
I mean, I guess in a sense he could be, I mean, because unfortunately he came after Floyd Mayweather, and basically that's the exact same thing that happened with Larry Holmes. He came after Muhammad Ali, and so I can see that. I can see someone looking at it in that way, because Crawford probably never will get the respect that he deserves. He won't never be considered, as great as he probably should be considered. So yes, I can see why someone can say that one.
We got another one here from Big Casual says, "What's up, Coach? A bigger pay-per-view fight in your opinion? Teofimo versus Mikey Garcia or Gervonta Tank Davis versus Gary Russell?"
That's interesting. It's funny. Gary Russell wants to fight everybody.
He sure do. I want to see him fight one of them people he's been caught. Listen, I'm going to be honest. I know you're going to laugh at me, and that most people do. I do want to see the Crawford fight. I do want to see the Devin Haney fight. I would love to see the Jojo Diaz fight rematch again. I wanted to see the Tevin Farmer fight when Tevin was still champ. I'll take anything with Gary Russell other than the names he's been fighting, man. Anything, honestly, and not because I want him in a good fight. Just he's been calling so many people out and talking like he's the generational talent. So I want to see him finally get that opportunity to be great. Like Mikey moved up, Khan moved up, Brooke moved up. Let him move up and fight Haney or Crawford if that's what he want to do, so we can see if he's really great.
Right. I mean, don't get me wrong. I mean, and basically, he is putting it out there. So I mean, if somebody really feel that he has no chance against him, why not? But I mean, I missed the question. The Tank and Gary Russell, or
yes, which one is a bigger fight? Which one is a bigger fight? Teofimo Lopez versus Mikey Garcia on pay-per-view, or is Tank Gervonta Davis bigger on pay-per-view with Gary Russell Jr.?
No, Teofimo. Teofimo with Mikey Garcia. I mean, the one thing in boxing is this. I mean, boxing, especially when you start talking pay-per-view, you got to start talking about Latinos, because Latinos will spend that money to watch a fight, and I mean, our people, we want to know if we can get one person to buy the fight and 100 people come in the house. So I mean, I don't know. I mean, I think that of course Teofimo and because their nationality supports them in that way better.
Mm-hmm. Let me ask you some other questions here. Teofimo versus Jose Ramirez right now, right? Teofimo says, man, I'm not defending these belts. I'm also not vacating. I want to challenge the unified champion in Jose Ramirez next, and they get it done on pay-per-view. Would you pay for it? Is that worth your money?
Unfortunately, once again, Jose Ramirez is someone I don't know nothing about.
What?
No, I don't. I told you, I'm not one of those people that.
I love it though. If it hasn't reached Jeff Mayweather's radar, then you really ain't I mean, I get it. Look, I'm not. He should. He's trained by Robert. He was trained by Freddie. He beat Maurice Hooker, and he unified with Maurice Hooker. Who did he win his title? I know he beat Victor Postal as well. But hey, interesting. So you wouldn't pay for that, obviously. So you definitely don't know Josh Teller, the one that beat Regis Prograis.
Is he from?
Yes, from the UK. No, don't know.
I mean, I've heard of him, and I've seen him. He's kind of slick boxer, right?
I don't know if I would call him slick, man. He seemed to have bullied the hell out of my man Regis. I thought Regis was gonna be the bully. He kind of was a bully. I don't know. What would you guys say? Is he a slick boxer? I wouldn't say that, but I could be wrong, right? Maybe I'm overlooking his skills. They say he's pretty good though. I have heard of him. That's all I know. I heard of him. I still don't know enough about him to really even say anything about him. No, that's cool. So that just means that neither of those fights are pay-per-view worthier in your opinion? But listen, Jeff, I don't want to hold you any longer, man. Thank you for coming on. How's the virtual training going? I know once this whole COVID hit, you started your classes. Are you still doing that? And how is that going? Any sales? I know it's Cyber Friday, right? Or Black Friday or something.
I'm still doing my virtual classes, and I actually also have my Doom session apparel starting to come out, and basically I'll show you one of my shirts. I have it on.
Doom session. What's that? Is that like it's Doom because you're working out with Jeff? And what's the
No, anyone that's ever worked with me know exactly what it is. And basically what it is when I'm training you and I'm teaching you defense, and I'm the type that I have real soft mitts when I'm dealing with you. So I smack you up the head, smack you upside your head. And that's called a Doom session, because every time I get ready to hit you, and that's what I'll say Doom and smack you upside your head.
Hey, sometimes you need that to correct the mistakes.
No, definitely. I mean, that's the best way for me to teach defense. And I mean, I have my own brand of mitts that came out to it, and they're called Doom Session. And basically, but they're really soft. And so basically you're not going to get hurt. No matter how hard I swing at you or anything, you're not going to get hurt. But you still don't want to get hit, anymore. So I mean, the thing is that, and so that's my whole thing. That's my whole thing that I'm doing right now.
Where could we pick up these Doom Session mitts for any other trainers out there that want to use your mitts? How could they get them?
Okay, the mitts you can actually purchase through Tidal. Also, I have a website called Doom Session Space.Boss Vegas, where you can actually purchase like the shirts, and then we're gonna have other stuff as well. I have like t-shirts. I'm gonna have hoodies and more and more. I mean, but right now we just have the t-shirts and things like that. We're just trying to add to my brand.
So we got a question from Texas, that one white boy. He says, what are your thoughts on a boxer who has 6 amateur fights, 3 wins, 3 losses, but has a Golden Gloves win under his belt in the state of Texas?
What do I think?
Yeah, what would you think of a guy, hypothetically, that was 3-3 but already had a Golden Gloves win in the state of Texas?
Well, I mean, I just think that, it all depends on who he is and his mentality and everything. I mean, just because you're 3-3 doesn't mean that you can't fight, you can't excel. I mean, there's guys that started out, with bad records and actually became multiple world champions. So I mean, at this point, it doesn't mean anything, in terms of just at the end, it determines. It's going to determine himself. If it's something that he wants to do, he's going to do it. If he don't want to do it because he feels that he's inferior because of his record, he's not going to do it. But 3-3 is nothing. I mean, you're just beginning.
So any positivity to the fact that he already has a Golden Gloves in Texas with just 6 fights? Is there any positive there?
I mean, no, don't get me wrong. I mean, if he, what did he do? He won some kind of title or something?
Yeah, well, he won a Golden Gloves tournament, right?
Oh, if he won a Golden Gloves tournament, that already lets him know that. I mean, that in itself shows that you can at least fight in I ain't gonna say the highest level, but a championship level. I mean, and the thing is that I would take that, and continue to add on. I mean, I wouldn't, and if you're 3-3 is nothing. I mean, you just getting started.
All right. I think the next this one? No? Okay, he's just rubbing it in my face. They said, I told you Teofimo versus Ramirez is a flop on pay-per-view right now. That's because you didn't know who he's only saying that because you didn't know who Ramirez was. But Ramirez, I mean, listen, he's been brought up on Top Rank. He's a unified champion, and he's Mexican. He's trained by Robert Garcia. He does a lot of work in that Fresno area with the, vegetation and, the water crisis. And then, he sells tickets out there. I mean, the Save Mart Center, he sells it out, 15,000. I mean, obviously they're not going to be priced as high as New York or maybe L.A., but he's selling 15,000, man. I don't know. I could be wrong, I guess. I guess I'm wrong, right? Jeff says I'm wrong.
No, I did not.
But Jeff, man, any social media, anything you want to give out to the listeners, man, that you want them to be aware of or know how to, reach out or access any, again, of whatever it is you're selling and doing, please give it out at this time. And we want to just thank you, man, for coming on and talking some boxing.
Okay, well, I mean, of course, Instagram, I'm Jeff Mayweather. On Facebook, I'm Jeff Mayweather. On WhatsApp, I'm Jeff Mayweather. Anything, I'm just myself. Right. And basically, like I said, I'll give you guys basically a link, or maybe I'll give you the link after, or something that you can and put up or whatever for people to see. But other than that, I mean, basically, I'm just trying to stay busy, man, and try to stay safe.
All right, man. Well, definitely stay safe with this revamping of this COVID. Hopefully you stay free from that. We got one last one. Louisville Slugger says, bigger pay-per-view, Canelo versus Charlo or Canelo versus Spence?
Spence. I would think. I think Spence following is a little bigger than Charlo. But to be honest, in terms of the promotion, the Charlo Canelo fight will be much bigger because Charlo, he knows how to sell a fight.
But
those guys know how to talk.
You think Jamal or is it Jamel? Because they're twins. I think when I hear
it's
you
twins,
say,
but I don't know which one. One of them likes to talk a lot, the other one doesn't. I don't know which one is which.
And that's what I'm saying. That's what I'm saying. Hearing you say it, I know that Jamel is the more talkative one, which is he's the unified champ at 54. So it'll be a little more difficult for him to get a shot at Canelo. The one that is closest to Canelo would be Jamal. He was also the mandatory to Canelo, and Canelo accepted franchise status rather than facing him. So that's the one people would want to see, but you're right. I think the 54 would sell it way more. But maybe he'll be there anyway, right? They're brothers. He'll be there to, be at the press conferences and stuff.
Definitely. But I just think that the one that's more vocal would be the right one to fight, to make that fight a much bigger fight than him and Spence.
I was going to say, let me ask you this, because we're talking Charlos and Spence. Canelo, right? Obviously, Jamal and Jamel, they started at 54. Jamel's still at 54. Now he's unified. Jamal, two-time champion, 54 and 60. They've been They're the same age as Canelo. They've been wanting the Canelo fight when Laura got it. And Laura was trained by all three of them trained with Ronnie Shields. Now there's this new thing where fight fans believe if Canelo offers Earl the fight, he should be a friend to the Charlos and not accept it because they've been waiting longer for it. What would you say to Earl if you was Team Earl? Would you be like, man, let's wait and see could the Charlos get that? They've been waiting longer for that? Or would you say, man, go ahead and take this, this opportunity right here that you're being given?
Well, I mean, in all honesty, I would never tell a fighter to step aside for another fighter because the one thing is this. I think that if they chose me for a reason. And so, if they didn't choose the Charlos, I wouldn't say no, put Charlo in there instead of me. No, I wouldn't do that. I would because at the end of the day, whatever Charlo get it ain't going in my pocket.
Definitely.
So I gotta live for myself and my family. You know, so I mean that's what I would do. I would take the fight if it was offered to me.
All right. Well, Jeff, man, I don't want to keep you any longer. Thank you for all your time,
Okay.
man. You know we could do this regularly, man. I'm going to get with Lee, man, and get you back on. Thank you once again. There you have it, ladies and gentlemen. Jeff Mayweather. Appreciate your time, brother.
All right. Thank you. Bye, everyone.
There you have it, guys. Jeff Mayweather in the building. Great interview. Solo Dolo, Scarface, No Manolo. Let's see. We got calls, though. Did we get to all of y'all? Were we already about to leave when we got Jeff? I'm not even sure anymore, man. I'm not even sure. I mean, did we get to you? I don't even know. I think not. I think I seen you just jump on. I don't know if I got to you on Blog Talk. Oh, I did. That's why you ain't saying nothing. All right, well, then SGTO got to go. I think Tony Yoka's in the building, right? Is he in the ring yet or what? Let me turn on. Where we got to go? We got to go to ESPN to see if that works, right? Let's see. ESPN and see if that fight is on. Is Yoka in the building? Can I get somebody in the chat? Any Yoka in the ring? Yoka in the ring? Yoka in the ring? No? Man, they don't even got it playing on the .com front page like, yo, live. They really be making me go look for this. Tony Yoka. Nothing. Okay, live. There we go. Main card versus Christian Hammer. Let's see what we got. Y'all must have forgot.
His pro career. He fought.
Oh, man. They ain't even start yet, man. I'm about to take a break then. I don't know who this dude's in the ring. All right. Next GTO, Instagram, and Twitter. Catch y'all on the next one. Peace.